So, when did wanting more money become greedy? Where did we learn that from? That is what we're going to talk about today in today's episode. This is the greed link that we are going to explore as part of our money series. But before we get started, I am Tamara Tamu. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Unleashed Alchemy, where on this channel we talk about going against the grain so that you can live the soul-fulfilled, powerful, magical, enchanted life that you were put here to live. All right, so don't forget, for one-on-one support, book a call with me to find out how I can support you on your spiritual odyssey. The link to book a call is in the description box of this video. So let's get into the greed link. Now, this is part 10, I believe, of this series. Now, if you have been following along, you know that in each part of the series, I have been reading certain sections from my book that I just released on Amazon. It is a paperback book. It's called Tales of a Money Maven: How Religious and Other Programming Has Fucked Up Your Money. Yes, that's the name of the book. All right, we're talking about it because we need to understand how spiritual having an overflow of money is. Okay, we were not put here to struggle. Yes, there are some experiences that come up that bring us closer to that infinite intelligence that is within us, that there are experiences that are opportunities that arise that elevate our consciousness. But a lot of the suffering and the struggle that we experience has never been necessary. That is true. And so in this case, we're talking about money. Let's get into it. So, first of all, I want to say this. I think that it is so interesting how it is so easy for us to expect, when we wake up in the morning, to expect to have our breath, to expect to be able to breathe in and out, to be able to expect to be able to move throughout our day on our own. But yet we don't expect money, or we think that to expect money, that is somehow greedy, or to desire more money is somehow greedy. So growing up, the conversations surrounding money were always featured around having just enough. That's it. Having money, the message was sent, especially within the church, that to have more money, to be wealthy, to be rich, that somehow that would distract us from God. Yes. That somehow having more money, because first of all, having more options, because having more money brings you more options, that somehow having more of that would be a distraction between you and God. That was the message that was sent. So there were no discussions about having large amounts of currency or even having overflow. The talks were always centered on being able to pay bills. Oh, wait, I should say this. First, not pay bills, but to pay tithes and offering first, then to pay bills. And then if you were fortunate enough, maybe go on a vacation. So you've settled for that. That gets into your nervous system as a settlement, to whereas as long as you have that, as long as you have just enough to pay for the essentials, that's it. So that then becomes the identity that you operate in, and it manifests in your experience with money. So when settling becomes what you identify with, only having some of what you need becomes the norm for you. So some, a few, a little, just enough, all of those phrases mean the same. So the thing is, the irony is, none of us wake up in the morning and we say, oh, today I just want a little money. And again, we're using money as an example because this is the focus of this entire series. But we can apply this with anything. We can replace money with anything. None of us wake up and say, oh, you know what, today I want a little bit of good health. Today, I just want a little bit of appreciation. Today, I just want a little bit of protection. Today, I just want, just a little bit of food. Today, I just want to experience a little bit of air. You see where I'm going? You get the idea with this, okay? So we only treat, when it comes to wanting more, when it comes to having and really owning that that's what we desire, we apply that to everything else but money. Because of one of the links is because of this greed link. So let's delve into the concept of greed. Okay, which as we go through this, we're going to uncover that greed stems from desperation. So first of all, to desire more is a natural progression, is our natural human expansion, it's our natural consciousness. It's a part of the elevation of our consciousness to desire more, because that leads to a more fulfilled life. That is part of our natural progression as cosmic beings having this human experience. Also, to cut off our desires, to cut off what we want, to cut off the more that we want to experience of everything peaceful, loving, kind, abundant, the freedom that we want to experience, the increased freedom that we want to experience. To cut off those desires would be to cut off our sensuality. We are sensual beings. And a lot of times that topic is taboo topic because sensuality is often associated just only with sex. That's a part of it. But sensuality is more than that. Sensuality is being able to feel into your body and to be able to accept your own desires, which is of course not talked about in religion, okay? Because to have certain desires is automatically labeled as evil or sinful, all right? So our daily lives, okay, we do experience some opportunities. We call them challenges, obstacles. But those are designed for us to create, to step into our creative sensual power, to create from a place of love, integrity, abundance, and increase. To create with the idea of more. So how did greed become associated with this desire for more? So let's answer that question really quick. So what we've seen, so not only do we have the religious programming that automatically puts wanting more in the evil bracket, because it deals with sensuality. We also see in society where we're programmed to believe that anyone wealthy, anyone with a lot of money, that right off top, they must have done something unscrupulous to get it. We've seen people in the world, we've been witness to wealthy people. We're witnessing it right now. Wealthy people doing some deplorable things in the name of money and power. We've also seen broke people do things just as grievous, okay? But here's the part where we get in trouble. When we say someone has done something horrible because they have a lot of money, because they are wealthy, that then gives money a personality. Money does not have a personality. Money is a tool that is not good or bad, okay? Money is a tool that can be used to express a harmonious life and can add to humanity in the ways that preserve humanity, in the ways that help humanity increase their consciousness level, to be more sovereign, to be more divine, to be more powerful. Not the power to control other people, but to be powerful in their lives, to create the loving life that they desire based according to the lens of their soul. Okay? So, money is neither good or bad. All right? So, to drive this home, let me give you, this might be kind of a silly example, but you're going to get the idea. It's going to make complete sense. So, if someone has a hammer in their hand and they decide to hit somebody over the head with it, what does it say about the hammer? Nothing. But it does say a lot about the person that held the hammer. So, like money, the hammer is also a tool to build amazing things that can add value to people's lives, i.e., a house. So if someone or some people, wanted to make a home, wanted to create a bigger home, for their family, or build a vacation house, or build a retreat home, for artists who want to have a haven where they can come in and write their books, or to build a loving spiritual space where people can come and learn and cultivate their own magic. Well, you wouldn't hear a person say, "Oh no, don't give me any hammers," because hammers hurt people. Yet still you desire these beautiful four walls because you've been given a vision. But since you have a negative view of hammers, you settle for less. You settle for a less desirable dwelling because you don't want the hammer, because you've said that the hammer is bad. Meanwhile, you're frowning at everyone with the hammer who has the beautiful abode that they envision, regardless of what you're using the walls for. Same thing applies to money. All right? So let's look at the definition of greed. So again, went to the dictionary, dictionary.com. The definition of greed is an overwhelming desire for more. That's it. So one of the very critical elements in transcending the cycle of greed and desperation is our increase in consciousness of who we truly are. So a financially rich and poor person can both demonstrate greed, okay? So when we become conscious of our higher selves as abundant, we step into the truth of our natural state. We start to embody abundance because we are plentiful. So when we know that we are plentiful, when we're operating in that identity, we know that there's no need for us to be greedy. There's no need for us to try and get anything because we already have it. To be desperate, to be overwhelmed by a desire would imply that your abundance is unattainable and your resources are limited. And we know that that is not the case. To be overwhelmed with desire is to believe that your abundance is external to you, that you're separated from it. So the overwhelming feeling of having more, again, stems from this desperation. Desperation is linked with wanting more, which leads to greed. Hence, you have people willing to do anything to get what they want, including money. So then guess what? That desperation becomes a complete cycle. And that's not the state of consciousness that we're going for here. That's not the identity that is for us. That's not natural. That type of identity is not even natural for us. So can people get what they want from greed and desperation? Yes, we see it all the time. But those individuals, like I said, they get caught in a loop, and then they believe that they must continue carrying on in the same manner, that to get more or to even get what they want, that feat has to always be approached from that same damaging, self-limiting programming. So, for example, we can see this play out in the music industry. We see so many artists who adopt, they are handed an identity that's not even theirs because they want so desperately to be a musician. They want so desperately to have an audience. They want so desperately to have this contract with this record company. They want so desperately to be signed with the label that then anyone can come to them and say, hey, well, you have to adopt this identity that is not even you. You have to adopt a fake identity, or you have to sing music that you don't even like, or you have to sing music that you don't even want to sing. And so we see many artists do that. Yes, they have the money. Yes, they have the audience. Yes, they have the sold out concerts. But look at what they've done. Out of greed and desperation, they have done all of these things just to have money. And they didn't even have to take that route. If they would have elevated their consciousness, they would have known that the universe, infinite intelligence, already had that laid out for them in a way that would have been aligned with their soul. They did not have to succumb to greed. They did not have to succumb to desperation. So then that leads us into how we take action. So our actions then, when we're operating from a level, this identity level that says that we are abundant, then our actions are not about forcing or making something happen, but it's about exploring our human potential. So a person driven by greed and desperation takes action to force or make something happen because they believe that they have to acquire as much as they can, do as much as they can before what they want runs out. That mindset is rooted in lack, in a lack identity. They have yet to realize that there is an identity that is within them, that's already there, that doesn't even comprehend lack. So, on the other hand, you who has calibrated to abundance understands that you don't have to acquire anything because you already have everything. So now you take inspired action as a way to enjoy and feel into being a sensual cosmic being. You take inspired action as a way to enjoy the creation process. Your taking action no longer is a means to an end. I'm going to say that again. When you are calibrated to your abundant identity, taking expired action is a way to enjoy the creative process. It is not a means to an end. All right, so I will leave you with that. Don't forget to schedule a call with me so that we can talk, so that we can find out how I can support you more one-on-one in your spiritual odyssey. All right, until next time, thank you for being here. Cheers.